Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about ratio and proportion. Although ratio and proportion are more of a similar terms, ratios are basically between two things and proportion comes into picture when there are more than two things. So let us take an example and try to understand what it actually means. Okay. Now when I talk about ratios, let us assume there are two mixtures. One is milk, which is poured into a large container, or many, and I have put 24 liters of milk in it. I have added water into it. So let us assume 60 liters is water. So 24 liters is milk and 60 liters is water. Now when I try to find out the ratios of this two, what will it come out? Right? Just think about it. So I can take 60 divided by 24. Try to simplify this two ratios. So if I divide by 2, again by 2 and by 3, so basically if I divide it by 12, you will get answer as 5 by 2. Correct? So can I say if there is 5 liter water, there has to be 2 liter milk so as to get us the same ratio? Correct? So if the total is 7 liters in a jar, then to maintain the same ratio of 60 by 24, I need to have 5 liters of water and 2 liters of milk. Got it? So ratio is basically the simplified form of the given values. So ratios is not actually a value, but is the simplified form. Okay. Now, when I talk about ratios, as I said, milk and water ka ratio, milk is 2 and water is 5. Correct? Now, if I try to find out milk and water का ratio out of total, ठीक है? So let us first assume I try to find out milk. Now milk is, how much is milk? Milk is 24 liters, correct? So that will be 24 out of total. Out of total. Now total is 60 plus 24. Look at the values. Look at the values. Okay. 60 plus 24. So 60 plus 24 is 84. So 24 divided by 84. Plus if you simplify it by 12, you will get answer as 2 by 7. Similarly, if you look at water, the water is 60 liters. So 60 divided by 84, if you try to simplify it, you will get answer as 5%. So this is basically known as fraction of milk and fraction of water. Are you getting my point? So this is known as fraction of milk and fraction of water. So just to sum up, the ratio of milk and water is 2 is to 5, but the fraction of milk is 2 by 7, that is milk upon total, and water is 5 by 7, that is water upon total. Okay, so this is always out of total. What? Fraction. Okay, let's move on to the next part. If suppose a upon 7 is equal to b upon 5 is equal to c upon 4, then what is a is to b is to c? Ka ratio. Okay, now understand that you have equal to sign in between. Okay, there is an equal to sign in between. So a upon 7, b upon 5, and 7 by 4. What is the ratio of a, b, and c? Okay, now how will we be able to find out answer for this question? So I will explain this in two ways. First, let us assume a, b, c are having pizzas. So how many slices would A have, how many slices would B have, and how many slices would C have? Now since this is A by 7, then A will have 7 slices of pizza, B will have 5 slices, and C will have 4 slices. So ABC ka ratio will come out as 7 is to 5 is to 4. Are you getting my point? So ABC ka ratio is 7 is to 5 is to 4. Let me try to explain you the same thing with the help of mathematical expression. So let us first take the first two ratios, that is A by 7 equal to B by 5. Okay. Now if I cross multiply, as in if I bring B on left hand side and if I take 7 on right hand side, so they will interchange their position. Are you getting my point? So this will look like as A upon B is equal to 7 upon 5. So what is A and B ka ratio? That is 7 is to 5. So are you getting my point? Here, as you can see, this is 7 is to 5. Now when I look for B, similarly for B by 5 and C by 4, so B by 5 is equal to C by 4. If I interchange C and 5, this will become B by C is equal to 5 by 4. So again B and C is 5 is to 4. So this is it, 5 is to 4. Okay, so are you getting my point? So basically what is happening here is that we are finding the ratios. Okay, so even if you go in the form of the mathematical expression, you will get the same answer. Okay, you will get the same answer. So if A upon 7 is equal to B upon 5 is equal to C upon 4, then the ratio of A is to B is to C will be nothing but 7 is to 5 is to 4. Got it? If A upon 7 is equal to B upon 5 is equal to C upon 4, then A is to B is to C is 7 is to 5 is to 4. Let us take another scenario. Okay. Now, if suppose A is to B is to C is 1 by 7 is to 1 by 5 is to 1 by 4. Now, in this case, there is no equal to sign in between compared to the previous question. Then how will we be able to solve? There is directly an equal to sign denoting the ratios of these three numbers. So all we have to do convert. So this is basically fraction or decimal, like 1 by 7 is 0.14 something, 1 by 5 is 0.2, 1 by 4 is 0.25. Now we need to convert this decimal into integers. So there is very simple way of doing such kind of thing, and that's to take an LCM. So we will take the LCM of 754. So if you go with the method of 754, all you need to do is multiply all these three numbers, because 7 and 5 are prime numbers. 7 into 5 into 4 will give you the answer is 140. Okay. Now multiply with this 140 to all the three fraction. Multiply with 140 with all the three fraction. So this will be 140 by 7 is to 140 by 5. Okay, is to 140 by 4. Now if you divide and simplify, you will get final answers 20 is to 28 is to 35. So 20 is to 28 is to 35. So the ratio of ABC in this case is 20 is to 28 is to 35. Okay, so if you feel that I'm going too fast, please pause this video, listen again the entire stuff, and then move ahead. Okay, don't jump to the questions directly. Okay, now there can be other way of asking questions. So that is if 7a is equal to 5b is equal to 4c. Okay, similar type of question. So 7a is equal to 5b is equal to 4c. Then I can again take the LCM of 754, put it in the denominator and find the answer. It is that simple as that. So 7a is equal to 5b is equal to 4d. Let us assume that it is equal to some constant. So I can write a is equal to k by 7, b is equal to k by 5. So this is k by 5. C is equal to k by 4. So this is k by 4. So k by 7 is to k by 5 is to k by 4 is again 20 is to 28 is to 35. Okay, so you are getting the same answer. Another way, one more way to solve such kind of question: 7a is equal to 5b is equal to 4c. So take LCM of 754 and divide by its LCM. So LCM would be 140. So I will divide by 140, and finally this will be a by 20 is equals to b by 28 is equal to c by 35. So A, B, C ka ratio will be 20 is to 20 is to 35. Are you getting my point? So in this case, I'm just trying to tell you the different forms of questions that could be present in the question. So this is how you can solve such kind of questions. Okay, let's move ahead. You can note this as well. If 7a is equal to 5b is equal to 4c, then a is to b is to c is 20 is to 28 is to 35. Okay, let's move ahead. So in this case, it says if a is to b is equal to 3 is to 5 and b is to c is equal to 4 is to 9, then what is a is to b is to c? Simple question. So what we need to do is, in this case, since it says a is to b is 3 is to 5 and b is to c is 4 is to now. So in this case, the values of b are different. Okay? So we will be learning the concept of scaling of ratios. Scaling of ratios. So what does it mean? Scaling of ratios means that we will try to find a value which falls in the table of 5 as well as 4 and is the smallest possible number. Okay, so basically LCM of 5 and 4. So now I can easily say that the LCM of 5 and 4 is nothing but 20. Correct? So 5 into 4 is 20. So I will consider that 5, if I have to make 5 as 20, I need to multiply 3 is to 5, the entire ratio, with the help of 4. And if I have to make 4 as 20, then I need to multiply 4 is to 9 with 5. Correct? So 3 into 4 will give you 12, 3 into 4 will give you 12, and 9 into 5 will give you 45. So now this will be new ratio of A is to B. So A is to B is to C is nothing but 12 is to 20 is to 45. So this is how you can find A is to B is to C. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question. if A is to B is equal to 5 is to 8, B is to C is 6 is to 7, C is to D is 16 is to 15, and D is to E is 21 is to 20. And we have to find out what is the value of A is to E. Now finding value of A is to E will be a kind of an hardship, because then you will have to scale for value of B, post you will have to scale for the value of C and then D. So this might be a bit of a labor work, a hard work that you will have to go through, correct? So there is a shortcut, there is a smaller way via which we can do the same work. So let us understand this. Can I write A is to E as A upon B into B upon C into C upon D into D upon E? Now you will be puzzled कि ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है. Now just see A upon B into B upon C. So can I cancel out BB? Can I cancel out CC? Can I cancel out DD? So A upon, I will finally get A is to E. So hence I can say A is to E, A upon E is equal to A upon B into B upon C into C upon D into D upon. Okay. Now all you need to do is that substitute these values everywhere. Substitute these values. So if I substitute these values, now A upon B is 5 is to 8, B upon C is 6 is to 7, C upon D is 16 is to 15, and D upon E is 21 is to 21 is to 20, and try to simplify now. Now if I try to simplify, so ये 2 से divide होगा, this will become 4, this is 3, 3 5s are 15, 7 3s are 21, then 5 5 cancel, barabar? Then 4 5s are 20, 4 4s are 16, and finally you getting, oh sorry, 4 also gets simplified, so 4 here goes and 4 here, so finally you are getting the answer as 3 is to 5. Samjha? So there are two ways of solving this kind of question. Either you can scale the ratios, yes, that is the way for there, but in order to find out only A is to B, you have to be smart. So in this case, you can take A upon B into B upon C into D upon E into, and simplify, cancel out whatsoever are the common numbers, simplify it, and then find the answer. So similar, in this way, you can find the answer of A is to E is 3 is to 5. Okay. Now let's move on to the next part. Another question. A certain amount was distributed among A, B, and C in the ratio of 5 is to 3 is to 4, but erroneously distributed in the ratio of 3 is to 2 is to 4. As a result of which B got rupees 50 less. What is the amount? Now understand. Earlier the person was trying to distribute an amount. He distributed the same amount but in different ratio. So if suppose that person has 100 rupees which is supposed to be distributed to ABC, is still distributing the same amount, that is 100 rupees, but in different ratio. So at the end the amount which was supposed to be distributed is same, only the ratio changes. Okay. So now let's find out the answer. Correct distribution was supposed to be 5 is to 3 is to 4, and the incorrect distribution is 3 is to 2 is to 4. Now in this case, if I try to add this term, so basically correct distribution adds up to 5 plus 3 plus 4 is 12, and here 3 plus 2 plus 4 is 9. So if suppose the person had 12 rupees, he would have distributed in 5 is to 3 is to 4. But if he had 12, he was supposed to distribute 12, but in this case he is distributing 9. Correct? The values are different. So here comes the scaling of ratio parts again. So you have to first scale the values and then you have to solve the question. Okay. So what I will do to scale the values, I will take LCM of 12 and 9. Correct? So the LCM of 12 and 9 is 36. 12 के table में, 9 के table में, the smallest term that we have is 36. Correct? So accordingly, we will have to multiply the earlier ratio by 3, because 12 into 3 is 36. So this entire ratio has to be multiplied by 3, right? Which becomes, so if I multiply it by 3, 5 into 3 is 15, 3 into 3 is 9, 4 into 12 is 3 is 12. And I will multiply the second ratio with 4, because 9 into 4 is again 36. So 4 into 3 is 12, 4 2s are 8, 4 4s are 16. So this becomes 12 is to 8 is to 16, right? Now the value that was supposed to be distributed and which is actually distributed in incorrect fashion is same. Okay? So this was the key point, the distribution of value was same. Now what is the ratio? Question says because of this issue B got 50 rupees less. Okay? Now let us see for B part. B earlier was supposed to get 9 parts, but he got 8 parts. Correct? So in short, he is 1 part less compared to the actual distribution. He is 1 part less. So 1 is basically 50 rupees. then what will be 36? So use unitary method. 1 is 50, then what will be 36? Cross multiply and you will get the answer as 1800. Are you getting my point? So question mark is 36 into 50, which is 1800. So actual amount that was supposed to be distributed or is distributed incorrectly or correctly is 1800. The final amount is it. Got it? Let's move on to the next part. Another question. If the ratio of 2a minus b, 2b minus c, 2c minus a is 3 is to 4 is to 5 and a plus b plus c is 24, what is the value of 2a plus b minus c? Now the first challenge is to get a plus b plus c. So try to understand this three parts, that is 2a minus b, 2b minus c and 2c minus a, and try to form something that gives you a plus b plus c. Okay. So the relation is very simple. You might not observe it in first shot, but the relation is very simple. Just add all these three terms. So you add 2a minus b plus 2b minus c plus 2c minus c. 2a minus b plus 2b minus c plus 2c minus a. So 2a minus a will give you a. 2b minus b will give you b and 2c minus c will give you c. So c, you are getting a plus b plus c. So पीछे हमने देखा था a plus b plus c is nothing but 24. Correct? Now if I add this 3, then I will get 3 plus 4 plus 5 as 12 and 12 parts is 24. 12 parts is 24. Now what is the question? Okay? Question says find the value of of 2a minus b minus c, 2a plus b minus c. Okay. Now 12 plots is 24. All I need to do is double these values. Okay. So 3 ka double is 6, 4 ka double is 8, 5 ka double is 10. Now we have to find 2a plus b minus c. Now how can we find 2a plus b minus c? Now this is again another miracle of observation. Observe the words, observe the numbers. 2a plus b minus c. Just observe this first two parts. 2a plus b, 2a minus b and 2b minus c. 2a minus b plus 2b minus c. So basically 2a वैसा का वैसा minus b plus 2b will give you b and minus c वैसा का वैसा. So this is what is asked. So basically all you have to do is add this two terms. So that is 6 and 8 because 6 and 8 are the final values. Ratio is 3 to 4 but the value now क्योंकि हमने 2 से multiply किया था common multiple, so 6 plus 8 will give you the answer as 14. 6 plus 8 will give you the answer as 14. Okay, got it? Let's move on to the next part. So in this case, it says A, B, C, D, E, and F are in proportion. So now here proportion starts. Okay. Earlier we saw about ratios and few questions based on ratios. Now when we talk about proportion, proportion is basically kind of a chain ratios. Okay. So now in this case you can observe A upon B is equal to C upon D is equal to E upon F. Then we say that A, B, C, D, E, F are in proportion. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 6, 4, 8 are in proportion. What does it mean? So if I see 1 and 2, so 1 upon 2, the ratio is 1 is to 2. Then look at 3 and 6, 3 by 6. Again the ratio is 1 by 2 if you simplify. Then 4 and 8, again the ratio is 1 by 2. So this 3 are same. So A, B, C, D, E, F are in proportion, or 1, 2, 3, 6, 4, 8 are in proportion. Okay. There is another term which is generally used is known as continued proportion. Now there is a minor difference between proportion and continued proportion. In case of continued proportion, the denominator of the first ratio is numerator of the second ratio. Okay? Denominator of this ratio becomes the numerator of the next ratio. So let us take an example that 1, 2, 4, 8 are in continued proportion. Now what does this mean? Again, 1 by 2 is equals to the other proportion. So the 2 will be numerator of the next ratio. So 2 by 4, 2 upon 4, if you simplify you will get again 1 by 2, correct? Is equals to 4 by 8, which is again 1 by 2. So 1, 2, 4, 8 are in continued proportion. Got my point? So there is a slight difference between a normal proportion and a continued proportion. Another thing, if A upon B is equal to C upon D is equal to E upon F is equal to R, any constant R, then the property of equal ratio says that if you add the numerator, yani A plus C, if you add the numerators, A plus C upon B plus D will be equal to C plus E upon D plus A plus E upon B plus F equal to ACE plus BDF. So this is known as property of equal ratios. Okay? Simple. So this is how you can remember. Just add the numerators of two fractions or three fractions, add the denominator and they will be equal. Very important property and very simple property to learn. Let us take an example. Now A upon B plus C is equal to B upon A plus C upon A plus B is equal to R. Okay? This all is constant R. Then with the help of property of equal ratio, I can add all the numerator. So A plus B plus C upon twice of A plus B plus C. Because if I add this three terms, B plus C, A plus C, and A plus B, each and every alphabet has come twice. So twice of A plus B plus C. Now you will see that यहाँ पे भी A plus B है, यहाँ भी A plus B है, तो I can simply cancel it out. But ऐसा नहीं होता है. It gets cancelled out, but only in one condition, when A plus B plus C is not equal to 0. तो अगर ये 0 equal नहीं है, because anything divided by 0 is not solvable in mathematics. तो तुम A plus B plus C अगर 0 नहीं है, तो you can simply cancel this 2 and you can write the R as 1 by 2. Okay, you can write R as 1 by 2. But what if A plus B plus C is equal to 0? अगर ये 0 हुआ तो क्या? तो I can convert. So can I say A plus B is equal to C right hand side में जाएगा तो ये जाएगा minus C. Similarly, can I see B plus C is equal to minus A and A plus C is equal to minus B, and I will substitute these values in these equations. ओके, तो B प्लस सी की वैल्यू यहाँ पे आ जाएगी माइनस ए प्लस सी की वैल्यू यहाँ पे आ जाएगी माइनस बी एंड ए प्लस बी की वैल्यू आ जाएगी यहाँ पे माइनस सी. समझ रहा? तो यहाँ पे हमने ये वैल्यूज पुट कर दी. सो व्हाट विल हैपन इफ आई पुट दिस वैल्यूज, तो दिस विल होगा ए अपॉन माइनस ए, तो ए कैंसल, तो बचेगा क्या माइनस वन. यहाँ पे बी कैंसल तो माइनस वन, यहाँ पे सी कैंसल तो माइनस वन, तो आर विल बिकम माइनस वन. आया ना? आर विल बिकम माइनस वन क्योंकि ये अल्फाबेट्स कैंसिल हो गए और सिर्फ माइनस वन बच रहा है. ओके, गॉट इट? सिंपल. लेट्स मूव ऑन टू दी वेरिएशन. Now variation, there are two types of variation, direct variation and inverse variation. So what do we mean by direct variation? Direct variation मतलब होता है कि अगर एक क्वांटिटी बढ़ रही है तो दूसरी क्वांटिटी भी बढ़ती है. करेक्ट? एक क्वांटिटी बढ़ रही है तो दूसरी क्वांटिटी भी बढ़ रही है, तो उसको बोलते हैं हम डायरेक्ट वेरिएशन. सो लेट अस ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड विद द हेल्प ऑफ अ क्वेश्चन, with the help of an example. I suppose speed is equal to distance upon time, and if I take speed as constant, कि मान लो मुझे if I have to travel from Mumbai to Pune, ठीक है, and if I keep speed as constant, that I am going to travel with 50 km per hour का speed, then जितना ज़्यादा डिस्टेंस होगा उतना ज़्यादा टाइम मुझे लगेगा. सो इफ आई एम ट्राइंग फ्रॉम मुंबई टू पुणे विच से सपोज इज 200 किलोमीटर्स, ठीक है, बट इफ आई प्लान टू ट्रैवल फ्रॉम मुंबई टू दिल्ली विच इज से सपोज 1000 किलोमीटर्स, सो मुंबई से पुणे जाने के लिए मुझे जितना टाइम लगेगा उससे ज़्यादा टाइम मुझे मुंबई से दिल्ली जाने के लिए लगेगा. क्यों? क्योंकि डिस्टेंस बढ़ गया. तो अगर डिस्टेंस बढ़ गया तो टाइम बढ़ गया. Are you getting my point? So if speed is constant, then distance is directly proportional to time. And if one quantity increases, the other also increases considering speed is constant. Okay? So let us assume speed is 50 km per hour. ठीक है, एक एग्जाम्पल ले लेते हैं. एंड वी विल प्लॉट अ ग्राफ विद डिफरेंट स्पीड्स. ठीक है, तो 50 किलोमीटर पर आवर मतलब 1 आवर. सो 50 किलोमीटर 1 आवर में जा रहा है. तो कैन यू टेल मी 100 किलोमीटर्स जाने के लिए कितना टाइम लगेगा? करेक्ट. सो यहाँ पे इफ डिस्टेंस डबल हो रहा है तो टाइम भी डबल हो जाएगा. सो इट विल टेक 2 आवर्स. करेक्ट. वैसे ही 100 से 200 हो रहा है, सो यहाँ भी डिस्टेंस डबल हो रहा है. सो इफ डिस्टेंस इज डबलिंग, द टाइम विल ऑल्सो डबल इट. So this will become 4 hours. 200 to 500. So this is increasing again. Yeah, if you relate it with respect to 50. 50 के respect में this is 10 times, so time will also become 10 times. With respect to 50, this is 13 times, right? So 50 into 13 is 650. So number of hours will be 1 into 13, which is 13. So this is the concept of direct variation. If one quantity increases, the other also increases simultaneously. Now if we try to plot a graph for the direct proportion, it is a symmetric graph with at 45 degrees. If one quantity increases, second also increases. Okay, let us move on to the next part. So let us see an example. The total cost of manufacturing 120 units of an article is rupees 784. Okay. Find the cost of manufacturing 90 units of the same article if the number of units and the cost of manufacturing are direct proportion. So very simple. It says that these are in direct proportion. So what is in direct proportion? Number of units and manufacturing cost is direct proportion. So what we are given with manufacturing cost, let us find out the manufacturing cost per unit, which is nothing but constant. The cost per unit, the cost divided by units, cost divided by units. Now in the first case, the cost is 784 and the units that are manufactured is 120. In second case, we have to find out the cost and the number of units are 90. Correct? So 784 upon 120 is equal to C2 upon 90. If you try to simplify with the help of cross multiplication, you will get answer as C2 is equal to 588. So let me help you with the solving part. So C2 is equal to 784 into 90 divided by 120. Okay. Now if I simplify this, 0 0 gaya, 3 4s are 12, 3 3s are 9, 4 se jayega, 4 1s are 4, 38, 4 9s are 36, 2, 4 7s are, sorry, 4 6s are 24. So 196 into 3 will give you 588 as the answer. Okay. So now we will move on to the another variation type, that is inverse variation. Now what happens in this inverse variation? If one quantity increases, the other decreases. अगर एक चीज बढ़ेगी तो दूसरी चीज decrease होगी, right? Let us take an example. Distance is speed into time. So let us assume if I want to travel from Mumbai to Pune, right? The distance is constant. So say suppose if the distance is 200 kilometers, let us assume that it is the constant, correct? Now if I increase my speed, if the speed is increased, then obviously the time required to reach the destination will decrease, है ना? तो अगर मेरा स्पीड बढ़ेगा तो जितना टाइम मुझे पहले लग रहा था उससे कम टाइम अब लगेगा, correct? So if the one quantity increases, the other decreases. This is known as inverse variation. Let us take one more example. If suppose the distance is 100 kilometers, and if I am traveling with a speed, if I am traveling this distance in 1 hour, so 100 kilometer is basically getting covered in 1 hour. Okay. Now let us assume if the speed that I am traveling with is decreased. Okay. Now if suppose the speed is decreased to 50, correct? So 100 से अगर 50 का speed हो रहा है तो basically this is getting halved. Now if the speed is getting half, then the time required will increase क्योंकि speed कम हो गया तो time बढ़ जाएगा, तो time बढ़ जाएगा तो that will become double of it. Okay. So if the speed is reducing to its half, then the time required will double. Similarly, if I think of 25 kilometer per hour, now if the speed is reduced from 100 to 25, that is 1/4 of the time, then the number of hours required will become 4 times. So 4 hours will be required. If the speed is reduced by 1/10, then the time required will be 10 times of the value. Okay. So this is an inverse variation. Now if I look at the graph, it will be in this format, right? So if one quantity increases, the other related quantity decreases, provided one of the part is constant. Got it? Okay, let's take an example. If the cost of manufacturing of a particular product is 24 per unit, so this is given as the cost per unit, so this is price. We are manufacturing 175 units, so this is quantity. So we are comparing price with quantity. If the total expenditure is to be constant, so what is the constant part? The total expenditure. Say suppose if I want to invest a lakh rupees, so it should remain same. How many units can we manufacture of the same article if the cost of the manufacturing is rupees 20 per unit. Okay, now we are reducing the cost from 24 to 20. Now if we are reducing the cost and if the expenditure is constant, then the quantity will obviously increase. ठीक है, price कम होगा तो quantity बढ़ जाएगा. Assume that cost per unit and the number of units are inversely proportional. Fair enough. Now the total expenditure is unit cost into number of units, and this expenditure is given as constant. So we can simply write the unit cost is suppose C1 and the units are U1 is equal to C2 into U2. Why these two are equal? Because the expenditure is constant. Had the expenditure been different, then this might not have been equal. Okay. Now, we'll feed the values. Now, cost is 24, units are 175. New cost is 120, then what will be the units? So, U2 will be basically 24 into 175 divided by 20. So, if I divide by 4, if I simplify by 4, so 4 5s are 20, 4 6 are 24. If I simplify this with 5, so 5 3s are 15, remaining is 2, 25 to 5. Correct? So the answer will come out as 210. Right? So 6 into 35 is 210. So the new number of units is 200. Okay? Simple. Let's move to the next part, that is direct relation. Now direct relation and direct variation are not much of a different thing. Now, in case of direct variation, again, one quantity increases, the other also increases. The way direct it happens in direct variation. The only difference here is that a fixed cost comes into picture. Okay? So let us take an example. If I am trying to manufacture, say, suppose biscuits. Okay? Now, what I would need machinery through which I will manufacture the biscuits. I will need a space, a rented space. So this is going to be my fixed cost. Okay. And this will get added in the variable cost. So variable cost, what would I require to make biscuits? So I would require sugar, I would require water, I would require labor, etc. Correct. So there are many ingredients and people which will be required for me, and that will be treated as a variable cost. So variable cost and fixed cost when added becomes a total cost. The relation remains same. If the units increases, the overall total cost will also increase except the fixed cost, because fixed cost is fixed, so it will remain same. Okay. So let us take some values. If the fixed cost is 500 and if the cost per unit is 20, so let me draw a table. If I am manufacturing no units, then I will have to pay 500 only. But if the value turns from 0 to 10, then I will have to pay 20 into 10, which is 200, and 200 plus 500 will make it 700. Similarly, if I am going for 50 units, so 20 into 50 is 1000, and 1000 plus 500 will make it 1500. Correct? Similarly 2000 and similarly 2100. Are you getting my point? So now if suppose I have to find a relation, since as we say if one quantity increases the other also increase. So let us try to understand the relation. Okay? Just observe the units part. If you observe the units part, the value is changing from 0 to 10. So there is an increase of 10. From 10 to 50, there is an increase of 40. From 50 to 75, there is an increase of 25. From 75 to 80, there is an increase of 5. And accordingly, the value is also increased. So observe the values. 500 says 700. So there is an increase of 200. 700 to 1500, there is an increase of 800. Then there is an increase of 500. Then there is an increase of 100. Now, if I compare everything with respect to 10, ठीक है, तो say suppose कि पहले मैंने 10 यूनिट्स का 200 निकाल दिया और 700 कॉस्ट आ गया. अब 10 से अगर मैं 40 जाता हूं तो दिस इज बेसिकली 4 टाइम्स द क्वांटिटी इज बिकमिंग 4 टाइम्स, राइट. 10 से लेके 40 द क्वांटिटी इज बिकमिंग 4 टाइम्स, द कॉस्ट शुड आल्सो बिकम 4 टाइम्स. So if you observe, the variable cost has changed from 200 to 800 because it should become 4 times. So this 800 plus 700 will give you 1500. 800 plus 700 will give you 1500. Are you getting my point? So just observe the difference in the values. Now, if I look at the value as 25, there is an increase of 25, which is basically 2.5 times of this value. सो जो प्राइस है वो भी 2.5 टाइम्स इंक्रीज होना चाहिए ऑफ 200. So 200 into 2.5 is 500. So just add 500 with the previous value 1500 and get 2000 as the answer. Similarly last में plus 5 हो रहा है, so this is 0.5 times of this value. तो price जो है वो भी 200 का 0.5 times होना चाहिए which is 100. So 100 plus 2000 will give you 2100. Simple. So this is how you can find the answer just with the help of the relations. Okay. So what we are determining is here is additional cost is directly proportional to the additional units and the fixed cost remains fixed. Okay. So additional cost is directly proportional to additional units. This is what you need to remember. So this is how the graph will look. Again, it will make an angle of 45 degrees, but this will be above this fixed cost of 500. Okay. Let us take an example. The total cost of manufacturing 200 units is rupees 1700, while 500 rupees is 3500. Then how much? What will be the cost of 1000 units? Again, we will do the analysis with the help of the difference. For 200, the value is 1700. For 500, value is 3500. And but for 1000, what will be the value? So let us look at the difference. Okay, because additional cost is directly proportional to additional units. So 200 to 500, there is an increase of 300. Correct, and from 500 to 1000 there is an increase of 500. So for every 300 articles, extra articles, one has to shell out 1800 rupees. Are you getting my point? For every 300 articles, one has to shell out 1800 rupees. So what will be the amount if someone is building 500 units? Okay. Now how can we do this orally? Just remove this 00 sign, delete this 003. So for every 3, 18 extra rupees are to be required. Correct? So 500 के लिए कितना? Yeah, you can even go further. For 1 unit, so if I divide this by 3, right? 3 6 18. So every unit requires 6 rupees. Are you getting my point? Every unit requires 6 rupees. So 500 units will be 500 into 6, which will come out as 3000. So additionally 3000 would be required over and above this cost. So the final cost will be 3000 plus 3500, which is 6500. Are you getting my point? Okay? So there is another way, one more way to look at it. Now every 300 articles you require 1800. है तो 100 आर्टिकल्स पे इफ आई डिवाइड बाय 3, सो 3 से डिवाइड करेंगे तो ये 100 होगा, 3 से डिवाइड करेंगे तो ये 600 होगा. सो फॉर एवरी 100 आर्टिकल्स यू रिक्वायर 600 एक्स्ट्रा रुपीस. सो फॉर 500 दिस इज बेसिकली 5 टाइम्स. करेक्ट, दिस इज 5 टाइम्स. सो जस्ट टेक 5 टाइम्स ऑफ दिस एज वेल. So 600 into 5 will give you 3000. So 3000 plus 3500 will give you 6500 as the final price. So the final answer is 6500. Okay. Let us take one more example. The temperature of a country drops every time it rains. The drop being directly proportional. The drop is directly proportional to the square root of the rainfall. ठीक है. So drop in temperature. तो पहले मान लो कि there is a 100 degree Celsius and now it is 80 degree Celsius. So drop is basically 20 degree Celsius. Okay. Last Friday there was 25 millimeter rainfall, resulting in a drop of temperature from 32 to 24.5. If the present temperature is 24 and it rains 16 millimeter, what will be the temperature after it has rained? Okay. So let us solve this example. Question says drop in temperature is directly proportional to square root of rainfall. So the first condition is for the drop in condition, drop in temperature 32 से 24.5 हो गया, तो drop is 32 minus 24 and it is directly proportional to root of 25. Similarly, now question is if the temperature is 24, what will be the drop? So basically after 24, the because of rainfall, the temperature will drop from 24 से 20 भी हो सकता है, 19 भी हो सकता है, 18 भी हो सकता है. Correct? So the drop would be 24 minus x. X we are considering as the value which is nothing but the after drop wala temperature. Now to solve this equation, because this has proportionality sign, now this is known as proportionality sign. Okay. Now to remove this proportionality sign, it is very simple. Divide this two and put an equal to sign in between. ठीक है, इन दोनों को divide करो और equal to sign बीच में डाल दो. Now this is like a simple mathematical equation which we have to solve. 32 minus 24.5 is 7.5. Root of 25 is 5, root of 16 is 4. Now just cross multiply. So this will be 7.5 into 4 is equal to 5 in bracket 24 minus x. 7.5 7.5 into 4, so this will be 30 is equal to 5 in bracket 24 minus x. So 5 6 are 30. So 24 minus x is equal to 6. So if I find x, it will be equal to 24 minus 6. So 24 minus 6 is basically 18. So now the temperature becomes 18 degrees Celsius. Samjha? So basically what happened in this case, it was given that the drop in temperature is directly proportional to square root of rainfall. Now we know that the temperature has dropped by 7.5 when there was a 25 mm rainfall. And question is, what will be the drop if current temperature is 24 and there is 16 millimeter ka rainfall? So we made a very simple expression. So that is 7.5 divided by 24 minus x is equal to 5 by 4. We cross multiplied and solved, and we got finally the answer is 18 degrees. Got it? Now let's move on to the next question. The share price of Infosys technology varies directly as the square of the number of buy orders and inversely. So there are two things which are happening. Inversely as the number of sell orders on the buy order. So direct proportion here, inverse proportion. So let me take an example. Speed is equal to distance upon time. So here also there are both the things, direct and inverse. That is, speed is directly proportional to distance. Sorry, speed is equal to distance upon time. Speed is directly proportional to distance and speed is inversely proportional to time. So both this can be written in this format, right? Similarly, we are going to use direct and inverse in this case to find out the answer. Now more data. If a share trades at rupees 5400 when there are 15 buy orders and 25 sell orders, what is the buy order if there is sell order of 10 at a price of 6,000? Okay, let's see the data first. First, we will form the equation. Now, the share price, as it says, is directly proportional to square of buy order and inversely proportional to sell order. Okay? Now, if I put the values, the first data values, then share price is given as 5400, buy order is 15, so this will become 15 square, and this is 25. And second is given as 6,000. What will be the buy order ka value if the sell order is 10? Now, as I said earlier, in order to remove this sign, we will divide this 2 and then we'll put an equal to sign in between. Okay? So let's for now try to solve this equation. 5400 divided by 6000 is equal to 15 square divided by 25 into. Now if I bring this denominator into numerator, I need to inverse it. So this will be 10 upon b square. Okay? यहाँ 0 0 गया, 6 9s are 54, 6 10s are 60. ठीक है? So 9 by 10 is equal to 15 square. 15 square is 225 divided by 2.5, sorry, divided by 25, not 2.5, into 10 upon b square. So 5 5s are 5 2s are, okay, 5 यहाँ पे भी जाएगा. So 5 4s are 20, 5s are 25. So 45 into 2. Okay, so now let's form the equation. B square is equal to 45 into 2 into 10 upon 9. ठीक है, तो ये कितना हो जाएगा फाइनली? 45 into 2 is 90, 90 into 100 is 900. So 900 divided by 9 is nothing but 100. So b square is 100. So can you tell me what will be value of b? Right, b ka value will come out as 10. So b ka value is 10. Are you getting my point? So this is how you can solve this particular equation. Cool. So that's it from my side. Keep practicing, keep solving the material, because there will be lot many examples, lot many concepts. So all the best and keep solving.